Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast. This is your roundup of companies making news on Wall Street and beyond, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today. And with that, here's Bloomberg News equities reporter Bailey Lipschultz with Thursday's Stock Movers. Where shall we begin, Bailey?
You want to start with Accenture, maybe? A little bit of calling out some Doge cuts, underperforming this morning and throughout the day after really talking down their forward-looking expectations and how the government really trying to tighten spending. Elon Musk going in there and cutting jobs and forcing people to justify why they're working and why, if you're a consultant, you actually are going to get paid. That's something that the management team really sounded the alarm on. Some analysts, maybe a bit more bullish, are saying this is kind of the tone we've seen and heard for, call it, 3 or 4 weeks from the company and from the industry. But one of the worst performers in the S&P 500, worst day since March of 2024, closing at the lowest level since sometime last year. So really seeing investors kind of look and say, now that I think about it and what's been a choppy day, choppy market, maybe we avoid a company that is talking down their forward-looking expectations. And that's really been one of the trends from a broader perspective that we've been keeping an eye on so far as we wind through the final stragglers of earnings season and get ready for, don't say it too loudly, big bank earnings in about 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I can't believe we're already there, Carol. End of this quarter. So we're going to start to hear soon. But we're still hearing from some companies. Interesting, Bailey, to also see companies talk about the effects of Doge and government cost cutting. You've also got your eye on the restaurant space today. What's happening there?
Darden brands trading at one point on pace for looking like what would be an all-time high. This is the owner of Texas Roadhouse, the owner of Olive Garden, really beating expectations. And guys, I thought it was quite interesting that Uber Eats is a big driver of why they're bullish on the outlook, why they had a strong quarter, really rolling that out, that being one of the growth levers that the company can pull. So I don't know about you. I personally wouldn't really get pasta to go to be delivered, nor would I do that with a steak. But looking at the earnings, beating expectations, talking up their ability to expand margins, that partnership with Uber, potentially continuing to be accretive for the company. And another thing that analysts really called out was kind of the broader offerings that they're rolling out at their restaurants. Those are the two most well-known franchises, and they've really been ramping up what they can bring to a consumer that, broadly speaking, is still feeling quite a pinch here in the U.S.
All right, and there's another name. Is it QXO that you have on kind of your watch list?
QXO, Beacon Roofing, QXO announcing that they have agreed to acquire Beacon. So this is a saga that started earlier this year. QXO is Brad Jacobs' kind of roll-up machine, if you will. He kind of created a company with the goal of raising money to buy companies in kind of the supply chain, housing management, if you will, to roll them up and be more efficient, saying that the supply chain is weak. They're finally going to acquire Beacon at about $11 billion total price tag. This is, again, a deal that we've been talking about for a couple months at this point. Would it have to go the hostile route? How could Beacon protect itself if it wanted to? And it does seem like they actually have the boards aligned. Reading through some of the filings, this is a company that was approached back in November. So when we saw the initial announcement laid out, Beacon basically said they were getting taken advantage of for being in a choppy backdrop from a market perspective with the uncertainty around tariffs. Well, they changed their tune. They're agreeing to that deal. Both shares closing in the green. It does seem like a kind of saga that we were worried could linger on for quite some time is going to be wrapped up pretty efficiently.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.